Tonight on the Broalition, we review Top Gun, the movie, in a shameless effort to get more clicks.
Hashtag Top Gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let the music go. That's cool. We like that. Hi everybody, how you doing? The Gospel Broalition, or just the Broalition, because we don't want to offend people with the word gospel.
True.
Even though the content's the same.
I know, and I'm just Bible study shook me up, man. I didn't know anything about furries.
Welcome to the world that we live in.
And I and you guys know I know a lot of stuff, and I keep up on what's happening and things like. For me to, if you know what they are, I'm not going to talk about it because I would just go to, if you have a kid in public school, just
go check the corners.
Go check the corners. If you walk into your school and there's leashes hanging up and there's litter boxes in the bathroom, you have a furry problem.
Get your kids out of that school.
It's not for
Get your
a real
kid
animal.
out of that freaking school as fast as you freaking can. Good gracious. I mean, seriously, homeschool. You know, we always say that. So I was looking at stuff, and by the way, Pastor Lee here, joined as always by Mike Paul, the Hoosier Hillbilly. To my left, Donna's Game is J.R. Robinson. You needed something else because you're not doing that anymore.
July.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coming.
All right. So
You've been calling me the pirate lately, so.
Pirate J.R.
Because I wear earrings again.
I'm going to start calling him Junior.
Junior?
Yeah, because that's what it means.
That's what name I went by when I was racing. Junior Robinson.
And it's so much easier to say
sounded
than
better
J.R.
It sounded better over the PA.
Junior Robinson.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. So we're going to talk about Top Gun and give our review about it. We do talk about some Christian stuff. I ran across something today. You saw it on my Facebook post, Bryce, about doing a men's Bible study. I ran across this because when I'm down to Lake House, it kind of, sometimes I want to get up and go to church on a Sunday morning. We have church on Sunday night here, so I'm not a godless pagan. But so I'm sitting there and I'm perusing a website, and I see that they have this men's Bible study, and I'm interested in men's ministry. You guys know that. And so I looked at it, and it was like, anybody interested in coming to a men's Bible study at 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning?
No. Sorry.
And I'm like, I mean, who does this stuff?
On a Tuesday morning.
On a Tuesday morning.
It had to be retired men.
Hey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the guys who are going to go out and play golf, and they want to do a Bible study before they go play golf.
I bet they're going to do it at Hardee's. Because at 6 o'clock in the morning, there's always a parking lot full of cars with old retired dudes that sit around and drink their 25-cent coffee.
Not around here. Our Hardee's has been
true.
closed,
Yeah,
but the lobby's closed.
I guess those the guys.
Now
the
they gotta
farmers
get
can
up.
out. That's probably too late for the farmers, though.
Now
Yeah,
they got to
farmers
get
are
up and
already-
They're already out in the
down
fields,
the
stuff
field
like
by
that.
then.
they're gathering that early to make pancakes.
Your favorite breakfast food?
6 a.m. in the morning. I'm just hitting REM at 6 o'clock in the morning. I guess you've eliminated 75% of the men who might come to the
At
Bible
6
study.
a.m., I'm rolling out of bed just in time to make it to work. I'm rolling out of bed.
I'm hitting snooze for the first time at 6.
They're gonna have it at the church, and if you live 45 minutes from the church, you're gonna have to get up at 4:30 just to get there.
Yeah.
If you don't want to have a Bible study with me at 6 o'clock in the morning, because I'd be
Grumpus.
like, all of you are wrong, and all of you are going to hell.
He'd be grumpus.
I would. I'd be grumpy britches. Why can't you just? Hey guys, we're gonna go bowling one night, or we're gonna go to a car show, or we're gonna go catch this cool movie or something. Why can't you do something like that? Why can't instead of just saying we're gonna have a Bible study at 6 a.m.
They could go watch the new Top Gun.
You could do that. Hey, that'd be great. Get your men together at your
I
church.
don't think it starts that early.
Well, not at 6 a.m.
True.
Nobody's up at 6 a.m.
No.
except for people doing Bible study. But if you love Jesus, you'd be there. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have my own Bible study at 12:01 a.m., which is sooner than yours.
That's true.
Which means I'm more holy than you are. Right?
Plus, he hasn't hit rim yet. He's not went to bed yet.
Yeah, he's
I
not
haven't been in bed yet.
Yeah,
no.
he's good.
I'm a night owl. I can't help it. Just always been. Work third shift at seminary. That's what killed me. Working third shift will mess your whole world up.
Yes, it does.
It does. You never get back on track. You just don't.
Yeah, it took me a long time, and I only worked like six months on third shift, and it destroys your life.
It does. It messes you up. And my wife is in all this sleep stuff, and you'd be amazed at how your body is. Like when you go to bed at night, you can't have any lights on whatsoever. You're not supposed to have a single light on.
That's good because I don't.
Oh, I do.
What about a TV?
I keep the bathroom light on in case I have to
count
go
as a
potty.
light?
You got the TV on when you go to bed?
Well,
That's blue light.
When Mandy
Yeah,
goes
that's
to
even worse.
sleep, yes, the TV's on. I don't often go to sleep at the same time as her, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's doubly bad. You're doing blue light.
Your eyes are closed.
That's a good point. I mean, your eyes are closed. What does it matter?
For blue light, anyways, yeah.
Or any light. Your eyes are closed. What does it matter?
They say don't go to bed with any lights on.
I think they're full of it.
Okay. Yeah,
But whatever.
Well, they may be. I wouldn't doubt it. So we went and saw Top Gun. The three amigos here took the spouses with us, and we went and saw it.
Our spouses are wives.
Yeah,
You know,
Clarifying that.
that goes without saying. What you
Yeah,
said-
not even worth going into.
we said this 3 weeks ago.
Their wives.
We just did a whole Bible study on about the new thing that's going to happen. They're going to start saying that Jesus was gay. We're going to talk about that maybe next week or 2 weeks. He's not gay. There's a spoiler.
Spoiler, yeah. Not gay.
I can't believe you said it. So we went and saw Top Gun with the spouses. Went out and had a nice meal, and spent some time there. And I was so glad to see it, and I was not disappointed.
No.
And we're going to do spoilers alert because there's only like 4 people. Well, I take it back. There's millions of people. They're all liberals. But all the conservatives have gone to see it.
Yeah.
No liberals watch this show. So all of you seen it. So there's no spoiler alert or anything like that. So we went and saw it. Tell me what you thought. And
Go
more
on.
words than it was good.
I mean, I
Well, okay.
dare I say,
All right, hold on. Lee, you're interrupting me. I'm trying to talk. Okay, listen. Without kind of the peer pressure of saying that it's good, what was your honest? Was it as good as the first one?
I don't think it was as good as the first one, just because that holds like a special place. You know what I mean? You've seen it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
It was just memorable to me. Now, as far as like cinematics and stuff,
Oh, gosh.
obviously we've got years to advance. It was mind blowing. The story was great. They had a good story. I like how they kept. It felt like the age was right. You know what I mean? Usually Hollywood tries to portray everybody as super young, and and it was very sexualized. This movie, even in the sex scene that they had, that was literally him just. he laid her down,
Okay.
And
I'm glad you brought that up.
that was it. There was no. They didn't have to go.
You would not
any
even
further.
know. We assumed that they had sex.
We assume, but once again, it wasn't thrown in your face.
But
It
he's-
also never made any of the marketing for it either, like
Yeah.
like it would in other movies.
yeah, that, and on top of it, there you had all these pilots come in. You had a woman. You had black people. You had
an Asian
And
and a
it's all
Hispanic.
no
You got
woke.
all of them.
You
Yeah.
had some of the nerdy people in there, but never was any sexuality brought into it. Never was any. Well, he's black and he's flying second man, like wingman. Well, that's none of that was brought
They
into
didn't
it.
even emphasize that
That's a
the
good
female
point.
pilot was inferior.
Absolutely, she
Although
was one of the
There's
top.
female pilots who are great.
But they did.
Naval
But they
Aviators,
also didn't take it and say that she was the best because she was a woman. You know what I mean? It was just done so well. They told a story and they told it well. And they didn't put any woke bullcrap in it. It was just a great show.
He brings up a really good point, which is surprising for him. But I didn't think about it till you just said it. When they go out at the very end, and you've got the guy, I forgot what they call him, but the guy who's waiting. He's on the catapult. He's waiting in case something goes wrong. And they did not put the black guy or the female there.
No.
They put a white guy there.
But you never noticed it.
And
You know why?
that's big, folks. That's huge.
But you didn't notice it because they didn't push any agenda.
They didn't push
the
any
entire-
of it.
It was a movie about, hey, we have a bad guy. We need to beat the bad guy. And like I said,
Let's get the best to
it was
do it.
fantastic because how many times have you sat through a movie and they didn't throw something woke in your face? At least try to stab it in there every once in a while. And this movie didn't do it at all.
But it's funny you say that about the sex scene because everybody said, well, the sex scene, but then
There,
think
there
about it.
wasn't
But
anything to
look,
it.
we're assuming
Yeah, we're assuming.
because he's laying there, he's got a shirt on, and there's no sweat, and his hair's not messed up, and she's just sitting there laying on the bed talking to him. She's fully covered.
Yeah.
And there's not even, and when she gets up out of bed, she's covered.
She's
got a robe on.
Yeah. So I mean,
but you just kind of, they had sex, but it's like it never really. I mean, they never really say it. I guess we're perverts. That's what it is.
But I mean,
but Jennifer Connelly still looks hot.
Yeah, she's amazing. Her age.
She does for her age.
But that's the thing. It's like they never pushed any agenda. They didn't throw anything in your face. The language. At one point in time, Goose's son had said the F-bomb one time, but it was like, I probably would have done the same if I saw that happen. Like, what the,
I'm a pastor, and if I'm in that plane, you're going to hear a lot of cussing.
So I mean, the movie was perfect. I don't think they could have done any better. It doesn't, to me, it's not better than the original Top Gun just because I love the original Top Gun. I don't think it was better, but it was right there. It was very well done, especially for the age we're in.
I saw it at the drive-in, so it has a special.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. That was cool seeing it at the drive-in. All right, Junior.
I probably only watched the first movie a couple times the year it came out. I've not watched it since then. It's not something I watched over and over again. The movie is very well made. I like that they stuck to and advertised that there was no green screens if there was a plane on the screen.
Yeah.
All of the frontal shots of the pilot were taken in air.
Mm-hmm. I like the way they did it. I was telling him I watched how they made it, and they're flying in, I guess, the Super Hornet, the F-18, where it actually has a rear intercept officer back there, Rio, and they stuck them in the back seat and put a camera on them, and it looks like they're flying the plane. I mean, all they had to do was just put their hands down, and it looks like they're flying. But all those facial expressions you see
were real.
Under duress,
yeah. And when you're doing G, you're at 1G right now just with gravity. When you're doing like 8 or 9 Gs, it's almost impossible to breathe, and your face will make all those things, and you may pass out. And so I just wonder, like when Bob almost passes out when they pull like at 9,
if that was
that actually real? Is he actually passing out?
Yeah, it might have been.
It might have been, but that was fantastic. I'm sorry, man, keep going.
Yep. No, you're fine. It was very well made. I liked that they didn't cheap out on the CGI and stuff.
Yep.
And I something I found very odd because when you said we wanted to go see this movie, I said Mandy really wants to see this movie, and I said she probably wants to see it more than me, right? So
Tom Cruise.
We go, maybe. She says, I end up liking Tom Cruise and everything. I wonder what's going on there. But so we go see a movie a month probably, or maybe every other month. We go to the theater often. And she's always like, I didn't like that, or that wasn't as good as this and this. We got in
even the new Batman?
She did not like the new Batman as much as I did. She appreciated it, but it's not like, man, that was awesome.
I like her.
She left that and was like, that movie was awesome. And I think maybe she said that about 3 movies in the 20 years we've been married.
Really?
I mean,
I just don't know if everybody's getting involved in all the hype, and you're like, don't want to be the one that says, well, I didn't like it that much.
I mean, I was hyped for it 2 years ago.
Yeah,
when they originally
was supposed to come out.
That's when they filmed it, was it not?
Well,
they started filming in 2016.
They actually started doing the script because in the San Diego Comic-Con in 2019,
he shows up. Yep.
He shows up, shows the exact trailer they showed this time for it. So it was done. It's just the whole thing happened, and when the thing happened, they just postponed it. The editing stuff happened and all that. So it's like I said, I was hyped then. I was honestly not as hyped this time. I was like, I want to go see it. It's going to be cool.
Right.
But they kind of lost that hype for me. And then when I watched it, I'm like, okay, yeah, the hype was real back then.
Yeah.
And I like that they got the right people back, even with Kilmer's character, right? Mm-hmm. I read today or yesterday, wherever I was reading that every time he was speaking was actually CGI because Val Kilmer cannot speak anymore.
It was his son.
Really?
And because his real world health is bad enough, but he still came back. They still wanted him back, and they made that in the movie. That's
his
great.
son sounds remarkably like him, and they used his son's voice to do the lines and then put it in there like him speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And it was good. It was good to have him back. Good to see him.
Yeah,
and then Kelly McGinnis did.
I'm glad they brought in Jennifer Connelly. And
I forgot that was the wrong. I was sitting the whole movie. I was like, I don't think she was in the first movie.
She was mentioned, was she not? She was mentioned in the first movie. She was one of the Admirals Daughter, I think is what it was. She was actually
her character existed.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, her character existed in the universe. This is just something I saw on Facebook or whatever. I need to go back and watch the original, but apparently at some point in time, her name was actually mentioned in the universe as one of the Admirals' Daughters. Or remember when he was doing flight passes? He was across the tower, and he wasn't supposed to be, and somebody said something about the Admiral's Daughter.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, that was her.
Oh, cool.
So
I'm glad they did
nice
that.
Tie-in.
That was a nice tie-in.
That was a nice tie-in.
That was really good. And they didn't bring back Kelly McGinnis because she's gotten fat and lesbian.
Yeah.
So.
She was like, "Oh, they didn't like me because I'm fat and old." Like, well,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. Truth hurts sometimes.
Because Cruz would open the door and saw her and been like,
no, we're going back to the bar.
what the heck happened to you? Yeah, I for all the reasons you guys said, I thought it was really good. I really did. And the flight scenes are just absolutely fantastic. I'm glad we saw it in the theater.
I am too, and I'm glad you mentioned that one podcast. There's a podcast. It's an actual flight something or other podcast.
Got on my notes here, man. Nice job.
Yeah, that guy, the Top Gun's Pilots podcast or whatever, and they had three instructors from Top Gun. Actually,
the guy who's leading discussion is Top Gun instructor too. Yeah.
And even the other podcast with Jocko.
Yeah.
Had the only pilot in history to be able to pilot all four, the 14, the 18, 22, and then the 35. So he was on there, and every one of them were talking about, when this new plane that the enemy had done that move where he kind of went up and stalled in the air.
Yeah.
And every one of them said that plane will 100% do that. All those moves in that movie with those planes were real deal. And did you catch what he was talking about? In the movie, they said when that plane pulls 10 Gs, it actually destroys the frame of the airplane.
It does.
And those Top Gun instructors were saying, in the old F-14s, I think 6 Gs was a max.
Yeah.
And the older guy was saying that he actually got into a dogfight with an enemy plane back in the 80s or whatever in a 14, and he said that what he had done is he had made a real sharp turn. He wasn't even paying attention, and they pulled. He said all he knows is the guy behind him. He said they almost passed out, and he said when I come to, he goes, the guy behind me was saying take the plane back, and he goes, why? Their G meter pegged out at 11 Gs. He said I don't know if it was real or if that's just what the gauge, misread.
Right.
But he said we twisted that plane. It was pretty much right.
And they
They
bring it back
it
to the stress test on them.
They emphasized it in this movie too. When the admiral or whatever that they had pulled him in and said, "You flew that plane in a way that means it probably will never fly again."
The 18s, I think they said
When
were good.
he showed up,
I didn't think the 18 was
The 18
9
was good
Gs.
for 8.5 or 8.9.
that what they
is
said?
what those guys were saying. They said if you pull 9 Gs, you've stressed the airplane.
And when they talk about stress in the airplane, they're talking about the wings falling off. I mean, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool that they tied all that together.
Yeah. Because it's not just G's on the pilot that's in there. It's G forces acting on the plane as well. And you can get it to the point where you can break it.
Yep.
And so they have to bring it back. And they have to it gets checked out
Because when
before it goes
you're
up.
at 10 Gs, that's what? How many times your body weight? 10 times? Is that
10 times your body weight. Yeah.
That's also 10 times the plane weight on the plane.
Yeah.
So that tends to break stuff.
Yeah, that would break stuff. I think so. But a lot of people say it was like a pro-American movie. I didn't get that.
I mean, it felt very pro-American just because of what you've seen over all the rest of the years.
Yes.
Always the bad
I think
guy.
that, yes.
And in this one, we're actually the good guys.
We're actually good guys.
And it just felt good. But
Yeah.
like you, it wasn't pro-American. They didn't come out and beat you in the face with America, America, America. It was, we have some of the best pilots in the world. We have the best
I don't
training
even think
in
I
the
saw
world.
the flag in the movie. It wasn't on the casket or anything.
Wasn't it on the casket?
I don't think so. Spoiler: somebody dies.
What happened?
I said during the casket scene, I don't even think there was a flag on the casket. So it definitely wasn't pushed on us.
No, they don't. No, the flag had already been taken off
It was folded.
and folded
Yeah,
and
folded,
given away,
yeah.
and then he took his wings,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then
But
like
Even
the
then,
SEALs do.
you can't say, well, it was patriotic because of that. I mean, it was a military funeral. That's what they do at military funerals.
But I think it was patriotic in the sense that, like you said, that America has the best pilots.
Yes.
There's no doubt, and those guys also said they liked the fact that they talked about how it's not the machine, it's the person in the machine, and we have the best people in the machines.
Like I said, you put me in the brand new whatever that is.
F-35.
You put me in an F-35.
We're even getting off the
You put a
ground.
trained dude. Let's just say I make it in the air somehow, and you put a trained dude in an F-14. He's going to destroy me.
You're dead.
Because it's not the pilot or it's not the plane. It is the pilot in that scenario.
You put a trained dude in a biplane, and he's going to destroy it.
Yes.
Yeah, he will. That's just they're trained to do that.
Old propeller props.
Yeah.
I know. And you're gone. I mean,
What's this button do?
but it's not just these guys have great planes. It's they're great pilots too. When I say guys, I mean women too.
And the other thing about it is, and like the guy that was on Jocko's podcast, and he said humble bragging.
Humble bragging.
These pilots are arrogant.
They're cocky as all get out.
But they have to be.
I love it.
Because when you're in the air and you're against the enemy, you have to believe 100% that you are superior to that other plane and that other pilot. You have to have that mentality if you're going to go into a dogfight.
That was cool when Kilmer was like, "Who's the best pilot?"
Yeah.
And Cruz, this guy's dying. Okay, he's dying, and Cruz says, "This has been just a really nice social visit here. Let's not ruin it."
Yeah.
Even then he can say you're the best pilot because they don't do that.
Yeah.
And I want every pilot going up for us thinking they're the best.
Absolutely.
And they are.
No doubt.
Most of the time they are. I mean, and we went to Desert Storm, man. It was like a turkey shoot.
Oh yeah.
Those guys were like, "Oh, hey, yeah, I got 15 MiGs coming. Okay, I'm by myself. Let's go get them."
Yeah. Let's go take them on.
Yeah, and they just did, and they wiped them all out. So I thought it was really good. But like people say, pro American, I don't think so.
No,
They won't show it in China. I guarantee that.
Now, who's the enemy that you think they were referring to? Because they never actually mentioned.
They never actually who it is said who it is.
They kept calling it the enemy.
They just said somebody against NATO or something.
Yeah,
right?
they never exactly said who. I was figuring Iran.
I think it's Iran, but the fighters at the end.
Did it not imply that it was Russian?
They never
Did they not say something about Russian language?
But Iran is closely tied with Russia.
Yeah.
And they were using actually some of the old F-14s. We would not have sold the F-14s to
Russia. No, that's correct.
But back when we were tight with
Iran,
the Shah of
probably had a lot
Iran,
of
we
our
probably
stuff,
did
yeah.
that. So
You're
that's why they had those. And Mike, we've always laughed about this because one of the reasons I didn't like the original Top Gun was because I know planes, and so when they said, "Oh, here comes the latest Russian MiG," and it's like a trainer from the Air Force.
See, this guy, I had no idea. I was like, yeah, that could have been. I don't know.
And I'm going to show my ignorance if I don't get the numbers right, but I think that at the end it was the 5th gen Russian Su-57 fighter.
Yeah.
And they got that right. And so I think it was Iran with Su-57s. But that guy was saying, you can sit there and you can be enamored by what that plane can do, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
If you sit there and watch it for a little while. But, there's a scene in there where they're all freaking out because these 5th gen fighters are coming toward them. Mm-hmm. And they said that's legit. Because if you're in a Hornet and the 5th gen fighter's coming at you with its capabilities, and the guy who was doing the podcast, like, okay, what is it better? Is it better in this and this and this and this? The guy said, yeah.
Yeah. Like he said it is like 4 to 5 times the jet that the 18 ever thought of.
Yeah, so they did a really good job of that because they were freaking out. And when they asked him, do you think the 18 could have taken the Su-57? They're like, it's Hollywood.
Yeah. Again, that they were stressing pilot over plane.
Right. A good pilot in F-18 might be able to do that.
One question that none of these other podcasts had answered. So if anybody watches this and knows about it, comment, because I want to know, could that 14 actually take off in that short amount of time?
They never said anything about that.
They never said it. They never mentioned that in any of the other podcasts I watched. I'm just going to assume it could.
Under full afterburner with the wings all the way out. Yeah, I think so. I think it'd have enough lift to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, because when they take off from a carrier, it's not really that long. They have the catapult that's helping them, but so if you double that length, you might have enough to get.
And they're also not taking off the carrier with their wings out and their afterburners on.
No.
So.
No.
Yeah, that could make the difference.
No, I think they do have it pretty much fired up when it goes off.
Do they have the wings
They have
out?
to because they shoot off that catapult and kind of.
Do they have the wings off when they shoot off the carrier?
I would think so for lift.
That could be. I don't remember.
I have no idea.
But it was a really good movie. Okay. I have to do this.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Oh, no.
Which is the best movie, Independence Day or Top Gun?
Oh, Independence Day, hands down. Even against the new one, yeah.
I liked Independence Day, but I like Top Gun better. That's my personal opinion.
That's fine.
Now, the original Independence Day. We're not talking
Oh my
about the
gosh,
second one.
Resurgence.
Was there a second one?
Yeah, no.
I
There
blocked
wasn't.
it from my memory.
If you ever want to know how woke can kill something, if you ever need a definition of it and you're just like, I really don't understand this woke stuff you guys are talking about in movies, watch the original Independence Day and then watch Independence Day Resurgence. And you can see how woke will kill a movie.
Oh, it was miserable.
Oh, that was a horrible movie.
And I loved Independence Day, don't get me wrong. Independence Day was a fantastic movie.
One of Will Smith's best movies.
That second one. I don't even know if I made it all the way through. I might turn it off halfway through.
Yeah,
This is pathetic.
We're going to have a party bar night where we're going to watch the Independence Day with all the deleted scenes in it. Oh, it's fantastic. My wife and I watched it again the other night. We just sit there and we turn it on trying to find something. Independence Day comes on. I just kind of click it on. We're just like, we watch the whole thing. Seen it 100 times. But I just love that movie. And you look at it now, I wish they would remaking all these movies, remake Independence Day with what they have today.
Yeah.
Let that guy who did Top Gun direct the new Independence Day.
Yeah.
Did Goldblum ever return to something and it be bad?
Resurgence, yeah.
Was he in it? I guess he wasn't Resurgence.
He wasn't.
Well, just it's
Goldblum's great. He's great in everything he does.
a little off topic, but he's coming back to the new Jurassic Park too.
Yes, he is.
That opens Friday. I have no desire to
So
see
is
it.
Professor
I'm a Chris Pratt fan, but
They're bringing back basically everybody from the first movie.
Yeah.
they did.
But
But then again, before the movie even came out, they're talking about the age gap that existed in the original movie between the blonde and Sam Neill, Laura Dern and Sam Neill, and how that was inappropriate, and he was like taking advantage of her because she was young, and Laura Dern was like, "Yeah, you're right. I think she."
oh my gosh!
Shut up!
They both look old in the new one.
Huh?
They both look old in
They
the new
both
one.
look old. Goldblum looks great still.
Yeah, he has not changed.
He does.
Age.
He was fantastic in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yes, he will.
They could not have gotten anybody better. Ricky Gervais, maybe that would be about it, but he was
Goldblum
fantastic.
knocked it out of the park.
Every movie he's in, he's good. The Fly is a great movie and stuff like that. So I guess what it was is we just don't. They don't make movies like this anymore.
No, they don't.
And when I was growing up in the '80s, I know I keep talking about it. We had one of these every weekend.
Yeah.
One of these, just get out there, grab some popcorn, stupid, mindless fun, great story, and none of this woke crap that we have to deal with. And it was just I just thought
It was a great story, and it didn't have to tell a lot.
Actually, the story's kind of weak, isn't it?
It is kind of weak. Let's be completely honest. It's literally Star Wars in planes. They did the run on Death Star basically in airplanes.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So, but there was nothing to it. It was like, hey, we need to bring Maverick back so he can teach these kids to defeat the enemy. There was not a whole big storyline. It was just very simple, but it was fantastic.
Well, they did a great job of going back. Going back and pulling parts from the original movie and bringing them in, and that was very, touchy when the guy's in there and Goose's son is in there and he's playing Great Balls of Fire, and Cruz is outside. Cruz is he did a great job because he does it. He did like a guy would do. A guy would just stand there and just look around, because it really bothers him. But it was a great scene in the movie.
The casting for Goose's son.
Good gracious!
You could not have done much better.
I was going to ask about him. What you guys thought about him?
I thought he portrayed it well.
I think they did a good job of making him resemble Goose.
That's what when you saw him walk in, you thought
like,
Goose.
You thought
this
Goose.
is probably his biggest role because he's actually.
He's been in a lot of movies.
I was talking to Mandy.
He was really good in Whiplash. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I did not. I was talking to Mandy about this, and he plays in a lot of movies that were books first, and then end up becoming like cheesy love story movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of been his thing. And then, so when they cast him for this, I was concerned because I don't think he's a very good actor.
Yeah. Right.
But he did well in this, I was surprised. I didn't think he would because he was also in the failed Fantastic Four movie.
That's where. That's where I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You didn't see it?
My wife bought it for me for Christmas because we're like, oh sweet, the new Fantastic Four. That was another 15 minutes in, and we're like, oh nope.
Yeah.
That was a waste of $20. Like, wow, it's bad.
That's like the Eternals. I started watching it, and I'm like, I have no. What is this?
We watched it all.
Is it out on streaming? I suppose
Eternals.
It went straight to streaming.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I won't watch it.
I don't have Disney anymore. So.
Oh, okay,
I get on there and get stupid recommended stuff to me on YouTube.
It was cool about they said the bar scenes were true too. About how if you come in and lay something,
Yes.
if you lay your phone down,
All that's legit.
those guys said that is a legit thing at those bars at whatever place.
Yeah,
it's called.
well, at all the bases, I guess.
Yeah, at all the bases. If you come in, and he said each bar is different, of course, but he said there's one bar if you come in and put your cover down, your hat down on the bar.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 you're paying everybody's tab. And one guy said, yeah, I had like a $700 tab one night. I was like, good grief.
Well, I mean, I'm just glad they don't make movies like this anymore, like I said. And what's interesting is Roland Emmerich did Independence Day, and he did The Patriot too. I didn't know that.
Oh, Patriot.
One of my favorite movies. And then I like his movie, Luke Besson. All these French guys are actually doing the only decent movies out there. Roland Emmerich did Midway, which I thought was a great patriotic movie.
Midway was a phenomenal movie. Just the way it was shot too.
What was that reenacting?
The Battle of Midway.
I can't remember.
I don't know any of the actors in it besides the old
Luke Evans is in it.
the old guys.
Woody Harrelson's in it.
The other one.
Luke Evans is in it.
The one that was
We all
sick.
went and saw it together, didn't we?
Is that the one we saw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that was sick.
Obviously, it's not that memorable for you.
Another movie came out just like it in the same year, and I'm confusing them.
The Admiral of one ship. What was his name? The guy that was sick.
Dennis Quaid.
Yes, Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they did a great job.
That was just you should watch that movie, especially. I know. I always watch The Longest Day on June the 6th. We're talking about D-Day, but those things that those guys did, and taking away nothing from these pilots, but these guys, and I think this is where the tradition was born.
Yeah.
Of these naval aviators, where these guys are cocky and these guys are crazy.
Yep. They have to be.
And they're flying straight down toward ships with just, some of those ships had over like 100 guns. Some of those battleships, they're flying straight down
They know
toward
they're
it.
going to die.
They know they got a good chance they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And they went and did it anyway. So my hat's off to all of them guys. I mean,
Especially the one, and they said that was actually true in Midway when he had to take his oxygen off because they got the wrong mix of oxygen in the tank, and it burned his lungs.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let him fly anymore after that. And I guess he was pretty messed up for the majority of his life over it. But he went and flew the mission anyway. Like, he's like, I'm in it, let's go. And
that's back when guys had balls.
Yeah. Unfortunately, these people, I bet, would do the same thing, though. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? These pilots in today's world would still do the same thing.
And Cruise flies.
Yeah, that was his.
I did hear that.
That was his plane at the end. Of the
It was his plane at the end of the movie, and he flies. He has a jet that he flies, so he actually can fly. And they took, and to make it a movie, all of them had to get their pilot's license.
Yep. How cool is that?
How cool is that?
That's.
I would like to learn how to do that, but I'd be scared to death, and I don't know. So I thought it was great. I just miss those kinds of movies where you can just go, and you're going to have a good time and watch it. And
you're not going to get preached to. You're not going to. It's just a good movie to go see, and go, wow, that was awesome.
And sometimes there's movies that surprise you, and granted, we're at the end of the podcast now. Nobody's listening anyway, but I said The Accountant was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, fantastic movie. I'm not an Affleck fan, but he was great in that movie.
Super good.
Probably his best role. There's a movie called Lockout you need to see.
It's on my Netflix list.
Nobody's ever seen it. It's on Netflix?
I believe so. It's either Netflix or Hulu. It's in one of my lists.
Watch Lockout.
Yeah.
With Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce, yeah.
Guy Pearce is the guy that was the villain in the Iron Man 3.
Yep.
The guy who could get really hot. At the big boss battle at the end.
Oh, okay.
Extremis.
Yeah, that's Guy Pearce. And he's fantastic as this guy. And the best line of the movie, I can't tell you what it was. Somebody asked him a question. He's like, who is this guy? He goes, I don't know. I think he was Chinese. His name was F.U. And so it was the greatest line in there. But it's so out of character for Guy Pearce that it's just it's Die Hard in space. So I just got the extended version, so I'm pretty excited about that. All right. Now we had to get political.
This one?
Well, here's how inclusiveness is killing our military. Because they send 12 to 15 fighters, is that what they said? 12 to 15 pilots
in a program
to Top School,
yes.
to Top Gun.
Yes.
Which is not the official name, but that's what they.
Which the majority are Navy, very few Marines. So if you're a Marine that's selected, you're really
got the name because it was actually dogfighting with guns.
Yeah,
Not
the actual
missiles, but
name
with
of
guns.
the pro is like Flight something or other
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
But the students call it Top Gun because of that. Yeah. They used to like do only machine guns or whatever.
Yeah, they would only use the guns on the plane. So what happens with inclusiveness is like it used to be, you would send your 12 best, it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And now what has happened to our military, and I got this from a very reliable source. I have a few good friends that are in the military. And basically what they will do is like, okay, we got to send 12. Let's just say it's 12. We got to make sure that 4 are black,
We have minority rules.
4 are women,
Yeah.
and 4 are transsexual.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing today in the military. They're not sending the best. So what happens is
the best of each
people don't go.
category.
Right.
Yeah.
And if all the pilots who are going are black, fantastic. I want our best people.
If they
up
are
there.
all the best,
Yes,
send them
they're all the women. Go. But what we're doing is like we're saying, okay, he's actually the best, but he can't go because we met our quota for white guys.
Yeah. That's so stupid.
It is so stupid.
You're essentially war, and you're playing games.
But these generals, these admirals, and stuff like that, they're all politicians in military uniforms.
Yeah.
That's all they are. They got to keep their job just like anybody else.
Yep.
And we're not sending our best anymore. We've lowered the physical requirements, like in our obstacle courses in the military, especially for women. I don't know if they've done it for men. We're dumbing down everything, and I hate it. I just really do. Because our military used to be just fantastic, and now I'm not worried. Because there's still some solid people in there. There's still some good people in there, and but there's a lot of bad people who are in there too.
Solid people in there, but should we ever have to draft, we should be worried.
Oh my gosh!
Bunch of pajama wearing.
Can you imagine what that age group would bring for us?
People in there.
Well, I mean, I think our sons would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of.
They're a minority.
I think there's a lot. Yeah, I think there's a lot left. But like you said, they're not the majority.
But what I've learned over the past few years.
They're in their litter boxes there.
Ooh, there you go.
I don't want to talk.
I wonder if there's one in a plane.
Yeah, I wonder if the barracks would have to have a litter box.
They probably do now.
Because your drill instructor would be like, "You're not doing that crap here."
Get out of here.
No animals allowed on base.
And then he would be fired.
Are they even allowed to cut people anymore?
I don't know.
From the program, or is everybody making it?
They get participation
I
trophies.
know that from what I understand, Bud's Hell Week is still Bud's Hell Week.
Ranger School is still hell.
Like they still, I think your top of your top, like your SEALs, your Rangers, your Delta. I think all those boys are still. That's a pretty tight.
They're the cream of the crop. Yeah.
But I think just your normal, like the Marines and the Navy and all that, I think they've kind of waxed up.
Yeah, because like with the SEALs, it was like, lower it down a little bit so women can make it, and they're like, hell no.
Like no, if they need to make it,
They need to make it.
If they want to be a SEAL, they've got to be through training.
Watch the SEALs talk about G.I. Jane.
Oh,
Watch Jocko talk about it and try to keep a straight face throughout the entire thing.
Oh God!
Because he's trying not to offend anybody, but he's like, no way. And Jocko, if I've misquoted you, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Please don't kill me.
Please don't kill us.
All right. Hey, we love you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Peace.
The gospel Broalition is done, leaving behind charred minds, exhaust fumes, ammo, multiple cigar wrappers, and an empty bottle
Season 3.
of
Well,
bourbon.
just let me give you a little
Mission
little
accomplished.
teaser.
Guys.
You've been listening to the
There
gospel
are people that die. There's
Broalition
always people that die in Stranger
Pastor
Things.
Lee,
As long as Hopper
J.R.
doesn't die.
Robinson,
However,
and the Hoosier Hillbilly,
I will tell you
Mike Paul.
that the new season is
A
based
show
on Dungeons and
for
Dragons.
men, by men.
Oh
If it's
my
religion,
God.
Oh,
cars,
yeah.
guns, cigars, and anything else flammable.
Oh, by the way, y'all gonna talk about car stuff?
We hope you enjoyed the show.
You
two
We
get
know
on it.
we had fun. We'll
Yeah.
be back soon. And thank you for being a part.
I don't want you blowing my phone up 95 times a day.
I live
What's
in
that?
Subs.